Hello, welcome to another session of Visions Now. I'm Dr. J. Aleem Hud, host and executive producer, and on today's hot topics for the world and for the nation and for the state and for the local, we have Ms. Barbara Pierce and Brother Richard Jesse discussing some of the hot topics with us, and I think that you're going to find them very, very interesting. So again, thank you, and stay with us. We're trying to build it for you.
Hello, Deacon Michael Zapp here, inviting you to continue to support and give praise to the New Way to Live gospel program.
Hello, Chattanooga Valley. It's that time of the day. You and I come together to make love, good old-fashioned community love. I'm Dr. J. Aleem Hud, your host and executive producer, and this is Visions Now. Not yesterday particularly, not tomorrow particularly, but we're doing it right now. It's live. And we'd like to thank you, of course, for being with us. Visions is a production of Power to the People News, and also Unique Books, also Claflin, Friends of Claflin, and also
New Way Communication.
New Way Communication. This is a collaborative effort.
All right.
And so we'd like to thank you for being here. We're just trying to keep you up on what's going on. There are a lot of things going on in the world, from the international to the national, to the local, to the state, to the local, to your neighborhood. And so we're going to hopefully talk about some of all of that before the night is over, okay? But I want to start off today with a little known fact by some people. The emancipator opposed emancipation. In 1861, President Abraham Lincoln voluntarily signed the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which would have made it unconstitutional for the United States Congress to enact any laws to free blacks from slavery. This 13th Amendment that President Lincoln rushed to sign was the first of two versions of the 13th Amendment, enacted by Congress in the 1860s. The 36th Congress enacted this first version of the 13th Amendment in sympathy with and support of the South slaveholding class. Had this version of the 13th Amendment been ratified by 2/3 of the member states, black Americans would still be bearing the lash and picking cotton in the 21st century. It is ironic that President Lincoln, who became known as the Great Emancipator, went out of his way to sign a constitutional amendment to prohibit the federal government from emancipating 5 million enslaved black Africans. With friends like President Lincoln, black Americans did not need any enemies. And so I guess, as you say many times, what you don't know can keep you in slavery, huh? So how you doing today, Miss Pierce?
I'm fine.
You doing good?
I made it.
Okay, so no doubt about it. So you're going to bring us up to date on a lot of the things going on, particularly in the state level, with the NAACP and some of the issues that the NAACP are facing at the state and maybe local levels as well, perhaps, huh?
I don't know if it's issues. It's more like reorganizing, new administration, and we're right now trying to recommend new chairs in places.
Right. But I guess I'm talking more in terms of the issues such as financial literacy and the game changers.
Well,
the challenges, those kind of challenges. We're going to come back to it, but just be thinking about what are our political challenges with the city coming out, our economic challenges, our criminal justice challenges, besides the organization issue, but the challenges that we as a community need to face. Okay. And of course, historic Claflin is coming right along, and I guess it's kind of a I guess you call it a housing village. Is that right?
Community.
No.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Community, and that would include, I guess, kind of a model community type dynamic, I guess.
Yes, 44 affordable housing units, and I understand what affordable means, that the rent would be below market rent. The tenants that would be there, working class folk who we want to get some special help so that they can improve their status.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Now, will you have any say so in who moves in there?
I won't have any direct say so. There is a management company that's in charge of renting it, and at this point they have not hired a general manager. Okay. There's a regional manager that works with Gateway which is the management company out of Birmingham.
Right.
And, you know, over the next few months, things will be coming together more and more. We believe that by the first quarter in 2020, we'll see Claflin open. But let me just say this about visions.
Okay.
And we want to just take my hat off to you, sir, for these last, almost 30 years of vision in Columbus, Georgia. We appreciate that. And we just thank God. First of all, we want to thank God and Jesus, our Lord and Savior, and the Holy Spirit, you know, our indwelling strength for all of this. And we give them the glory for us being here tonight.
No doubt about it, no doubt about it. And we're here on a Sunday evening because we love our community.
That's right.
And we feel that, at least I feel like the way I earn my wings at the next level called heaven is by the work that I do now. So so that kind of, when you don't want to do it, that kind of say, well, you know, God is looking down, the all-seeing eye is watching, and so I'm gonna come and let's do what we need to do, and who, you know, maybe we'll help somebody.
And we work as unto God.
Right, exactly. And so therefore the state, and then of course the local initiatives. And because I guess what I'd like to do is I'd start off with something I heard. That I follow international dynamics quite a bit. And one thing that I'm kind of interested in. Now, many people might not know that, and some of you out there, if you don't follow this, but you need to know, because what goes on in the international arena impacts us right here in Columbus, Georgia. You know, because we do have Fort Benning here, we do have Aflac here, and Total Systems here, and we do have black people here, and East Indian people here. We do have in other words, we are an international city. But what I heard was, you know, over the years, you know, when you know, Haiti prevented Napoleon from taking over Haiti and actually coming to America. Because otherwise, many people say that we would be speaking French today had Napoleon made it, because basically he was going to take over all of America. But because Haiti was able to stop that, then eventually that cut off, you know, Louisiana was the Louisiana Purchase, eventually had to be sold to the English, basically, to the British. And because Napoleon was not able to get here and to establish, you know, their strength. But the thing about it is that many people don't realize that even though Haiti did that, Haiti has been paying France billions of dollars ever since. And people say, why is Haiti so poor? It's because France, that former colonial power, has been taking riches from France. I mean, from Haiti all these years. But not just Haiti. All the Francophone countries in Africa. And as a matter of fact, recently a sister who was with the OAU was fired because she dared to say that the Francophone African countries should stop paying Haiti billions and billions of dollars, and the countries can't hardly make it. But France, I heard today that France had threatened them that when the colonial era was over, they were going to put cement in the water systems, they were going to poison the food system if they hadn't signed this affidavit. And basically the affidavit had them paying billions of dollars and trillions of dollars every year to France. And that's really because France really don't have any wealth. But they take the money and build up France while the African countries are being poor. But what I found out today is that Benin, one of the African countries, have said that they are calling France out. They're going to stop sending any money to France, and they call on the world community to support them, and so that they can keep their own riches and natural resources and build up the countries of the Francophone parts of Africa.
That's the thing to do. And let me just say this. As a believer, when I had been lost without God, not acknowledging God, all the time I went through the service, came back home, acknowledged God, and the first revelation that I got from God, if you stand up for what's right, right will prevail. And for all those nations who are still oppressed, when they decide they want to be free, and freedom is something that there's nothing like. Yeah, you know, we talk to those people locked up in jail. You lost your freedom in America. This ain't no little thing here, you know. So we're saying, what country is deciding that they're not going to pay anymore?
Benin.
Right.
Right.
We're going to be praying for
West
Benin.
Africa.
And when Benin acknowledge God and God's power to make them free, they will be free. I have no doubt about it.
Well, they've
That's
already
the thing
acknowledged
to
that.
do.
That's why they.
Yes, sir.
See, because remember, that's no small feat.
Yeah.
If you remember, the reason why Muammar Gaddafi got killed was because of France. Libya was also, and Muammar Gaddafi said, no, we're going to stop paying France and the rest of Europe, okay, any money, and we're going to set up an African bank based on gold, which Africa produces, which meant that overnight, no African country will owe any European country any debt. So therein lies the reason why Muammar Gaddafi was attacked by all of those countries. Okay, so my point is that for this point in time now, for this discussion to be raised again, it makes me feel good as a Pan-Africanist that we are really getting back to where it's supposed to be, because we got to get the colonial legacy out of Africa, because to a great extent that's what's been holding it down and been ripping off all the resources and to talk about how poor the people are, etc. But the fact of the matter was that all the resources are going to Europe, part of the colonial period. Now, let me bring it a little bit closer here for a moment.
Please do that.
Okay, yeah. What I'm saying is that in our community,
In our community.
we're not controlling the economy in our community.
Exactly.
So the issue is just what Benin is doing. I'm saying, why aren't we taking control of the finance? Because we make a lot of people rich.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
but we need to open up the businesses. We need to have politicians who are going to bring in business opportunities and business resources to our neighborhoods and communities. Why?
Let me say, change never comes from the top down, from the elected officials down. It has to start from the bottom
That's
up.
right.
And those of who are listening to us now, who God has been calling you to do more than what you're doing. Been giving you visions and dreams, and you've been
Numbers.
all these great ideas. Put your dreams to work. Put your vision to work. What are you doing with your vision? Leadership. That's what's needed in order for us to be able to overcome the oppression. And this is a type of oppression in our own neighborhood today.
Right.
And what can you say? People come in, we're glad to have them in, but the fact of the matter is, in our community, we pay 7 times as much as any other community for beauty products, for hair products.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And the only thing, we got to teach our dollars some sense.
Right, exactly.
The NAACP term.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
And this coming year 2020, we just recognize us being in America 400 years, African in America 400 years. Well, the children of Israel, then after they were free after 400 years, then immediately go into the promised land. So that was a period of time. We don't have to wait 40 years. I mean, we can do what we need to do now. And I'm just saying, if enough people decide, and I think some people wait on another Martin Luther King. We don't have to wait for another king.
No,
you understand?
right.
All we got to do is start teaching our dollars some sense, and deciding that I'm gonna be a part of a movement.
Right. We all can be kings.
Yes,
we all can be kings.
Yeah.
And I guess that's my point is that one of the things that's happening in Africa and those places that are doing this is that they changed. They got a taste for a new kind of leadership. Yeah. They didn't want to get people who just going to go along and get along. They want someone who actually going to represent the interests of their country.
Like Nelson Mandela.
Exactly. And these are the kind of leadership that now these countries are getting. And so now the people had to rise up. Because a long time, there was a lot of coups. When there was someone like Kwame Nkrumah and others who would try to raise up to improve the conditions of the country, they would get killed or whatever. But now another generation have come along, and now things have gotten better. So just wanted to kind of on the international level, just want to let you know is that when we're respected on the international level, we've also known that we'll be respected more on the local levels, on the state levels, and on these other national levels.
That's a part of the conditioning.
Right.
And that you've been conditioned when your condition bad and you're not doing anything to make it better.
Now, I think that's a good place for us to jump right into some of these hot topics. One hot topic that I'm not just going to get into a little bit, and that is I hope that, not taking no sides, but I'm just saying I hope that everyone is watching the impeachment. This is America, living out the principles supposedly of a constitutional government. And there are some very serious things going on. Like I said, this is what the fourth time that is taking place in history that the impeachment inquiry is taking place. And so, and a lot of it has to do with us. Now, I also heard that recently there was a recent appointment to a lifetime federal judgeship of a white supremacist. And they were saying that while we're looking at these other things, though, there are things going on.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to kind of share that a little bit as well. The other evening, the NAACP, and we'd like to thank the president of the local branch of NAACP.
Pendleton?
Right.
Is that her name right?
Pastor Pendleton.
Yeah. PK.
PK Pendleton, and I had a very good political forum of those who were interested in the United States Senate. There were two Caucasian males, one Caucasian female, and one Afro-American male who were in attendance. Of course, the local previous mayor was not in attendance. I understand that was a conflict, scheduling conflict.
Teresa.
Right, huh? So, but I'm sure that we'll be hearing more and more from her and from them as well. But I just thought it was a good beginning because, from my experience, you can't wait till the last minute and expect us to get crunk up. It takes some time. We got to do a little hand holding. We got to crank it up. We're not just always right there. So I'm glad we started early. We're not waiting till the last minute because we're trying to. This is a good time for us to kind of figure out what's going on, what the issues are, and things of that sort.
Now, I'd like to give a couple of points on Voter Education 101 after you make your point.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, my only point is the fact that we have to start this voting education 101. Right. Because
let's start it now. There's a move, and we know that.
We are A-Girls Team from Columbus, Georgia, and you are watching New Way to Live Network.
Periodically, and if you have not voted in the last, I would say 4 years, they are talking about how many people are going to be purged this year from the voter ranks.
It's
and the truth of the matter,
number here in Columbus.
Yeah.
30,000.
So, want to say to all of us that we need to make sure now that we are still on the roster and that we're in good standing to be able to vote next year.
Exactly.
So you need a personal responsibility to just make sure. Now, if you've been voting, you don't have to worry about being purged from the voters list. 1.1. Point 2 is now is the time to get to know the people who want to represent you. There are going to be a number of forums. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be letting you know about a pre-legislative briefing that our legislators who are going to Atlanta in January will be holding a public meeting, and we need to be there. Some of you know that there are issues that you're concerned with, and you need to talk to your legislators about it. There are times when people say that our legislators are not doing anything, which is never true. They are always doing something.
You just don't see it.
Right.
Well, the thing about it is, if you engage them and you give them something to do, you can tell whether they are doing that or not. So, and we have a responsibility in this political process also to tell our representatives what we want them to do.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, for example, okay, we need to take a break. Okay, we're gonna take a break right here. We're gonna come back with more visions now, and of course, we'd like to thank you for being with us. If you have any questions or comments, of course, feel free to do so. You can always, put them on, text them, and we'll respond to them. Okay, visions now.
You got.
Hello, this is Richard Jesse, the director for the restoration of Claflin School and the director of the Columbus Urban Debate League. And you're watching New Way to Live Network.
We're back. Okay. Now, of course, we were just talking about elections and voting one-on-one, and we want to talk a little bit about. Are you aware of some of the issues that you think is going to be prominent in this? Anything come through your literature with the NAACP? Now, I know the NAACP is getting out the vote, part of getting out the vote.
Yeah, I was
effort.
just getting ready to say that.
Okay,
That's been our biggest. Let's talk
about
voter
that.
suppression and the purging and all that. It was basically everything that Reverend Jesse was saying earlier, is that we just have to pay attention to this purging, and who hasn't voted in the last 4 or 5 years need to make sure that their names are on a roster. That's basically what the NAACP is working on right now.
Well, see, I guess my concern is, I mean, that's important. Okay, I'm not, but I'm also saying there are people who are registered who want to make sure get out and vote.
They need to, that's another part.
I'm just saying that 'cause part of the thing is that people didn't get out to vote last time.
Even the ones that were on the list. That's right. Exactly.
And so we want to make sure that we take somebody to the polls, and also, we know that we want some change in the political process, but also there are some issues at stake. I was listening today on my way here on HBCU radio, and they were just talking about. They were talking about the fact that how the public defenders, or the question was, why is it that the public defenders and the prosecutors don't get paid the same amount of money? Why don't they get an equal budget? Because it's almost like it's a setup. Because if the DA office and the public defender's office, it's like get peanuts, and one riding on a Volkswagen, the other one riding in a Rover. I mean, it's
historically the public defending program has been underfunded, and that's an issue that we need to.
Hello, my name is Star Thomas, owner and operator here at North Lumpkin Beauty and More, and today we'd like to welcome you. I would like to welcome you to Columbus, Georgia's first and only black-owned beauty supply, shop, and fashion clothing store. We're open from Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. We carry virgin hair, Remy hair, and natural hair products with brands like Milky Way, Saga, JBS, and more. If you are looking for competitive pricing, boutique clothing, hair care products, and a beauty shop all under one roof, then stop in today. Mention this commercial to receive your 10% off.
North Lumpkin Beauty and More, 3448 North Lumpkin Road, Columbus, Georgia. Call us today, 706-221-5243.
That our community, again, these issues should be on it. One thing is that we got to do better is for the economic development in our community. We got to stop begging people for jobs. We have to be able to create jobs within our community. There are other people coming in our community doing work. And this is not against nobody, but we're trying to say that, but we need to be doing more of our own work. One of the things that they were saying with the show about Africa, they were saying that they import a lot of things, but now they're trying to manufacture some of the same things that they import so that they can keep the money circulating in the continent. And we got to do the same thing in our community, Brother Jesse.
Absolutely.
I mean, Brother Jesse,
but we have to educate and we have to train. We can't just say it's going to happen, because a lot of people don't know how to start businesses. They don't even know where to start or what they should be targeting, what they should be selling. They don't know that. So there's a lot of training and a lot of education that needs to be done prior to us developing these jobs that we say we need to do ourselves.
That's exactly what I just said.
You sure did. I just reiterated.
Right. But the part I want to reiterate. Let me just clarify. I just want to make sure that we could. But my point on this is to get that as an agenda with our politicians, people who are running. That was my point. The point is that we have to have more money put into things that we can build within our own community, economic vitality, not just where we can go out somewhere and they're going to give somebody else some money to hire us. No, give us some money to hire us. That's my point. Okay, yes, sir.
Last week I met with some educators that have an idea that they're going to write for a grant to be able to finance that idea. And for those who are listening, there are monies available for folk to be able to pursue that great idea and make it work. But you have to, you got to do some writing. You got to.
I'll have somebody who can write.
Yeah,
Somebody can write,
and you'll hire somebody to do it. We got writers all around, but we need to connect.
Yeah.
Doc, let me tell you one of the problems that we have in our community. And this goes back 40 years, the way we see each other now. We do not hold each other in high esteem. Too often we are suspicious of one another, and for no apparent reason, you know. And so we need to really think about how we think
there are reasons.
about.
There are reasons.
Well, you cannot stereotype, put everybody in the same bowl because you had a problem over here.
No.
So there are. If you just think about the way we generally look at each other, most of the time it's not in a positive way.
Let me say this.
So that's a change in attitude and mindset that needs to occur if we're going to do that.
Right. Well, I spent my life on how to do that. I mean, this is not me. I understand.
What you do.
What I'm trying to say, and I said again, but somehow or another, he goes, "Woo." Okay, and my point is this: the reason is that we seem to have an individual agenda. That individual agenda is stronger than our collective agenda.
Our community.
And that's because we don't identify with each other. I've lived long enough, and you're right behind me. When we did identify with each other, we did feel and we were taught that our destiny was intertwined. Today, that is not. Even people who were taught that, they have become parishioners of the other philosophy of prosperity. One time we had a prophetic tradition of ministry. We don't have that as much these days. We have the prosperity ministry. Pray to get me a house and get a car. We were named Moses and James and John and all these names because we had that Old Testament type of idea about who we were.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Yes, of course I agree with you. I mean, that's been my whole point. And the whole point is that God made a child that got his own.
That's right.
I agree with that part too. And that's what I'm saying to say, that we, just like what we're trying to do tonight, it's imperfect, but we're trying to get our own communication system going. It's not going to start off and be like CBS, ABC, NPR. No, but we got to start somewhere. And
Tune in next week.
Exactly. And so continue to be with, because this is for you. This is yours. This is for you. If you want to come on, I'm trying to say, we're not right now. All black business is not for black people. There are black-owned radio stations right now that you can go to, but they don't want you talking about the real issue because they want to sell advertisement. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that you got to have something. We don't care about you coming on here. Now, as long as you contribute to the well-being of us being able to have it, then you can say whatever you want to, as long as it's truthful. I mean, we're not going to be like Facebook and you can lie, and we're going to let you lie, and we're not going to hold you accountable for what you say. No, we're going to hold you accountable for what you say. You have a book publishing company, okay?
Right.
I mean, so my point is that you get things all the time on the internet about self-publishing and self-publishing. What I'm trying to say to you is that's what it's all about. We have a bookstore here. We have a mental health business here, okay? We have a agribusiness product. We have an import shop that we bring in these nice materials from Africa, like we're sitting right here with, and then the pictures that you see behind us. But my point of it is that today we have to let those little idiosyncrasies that you got, that I got, that you got, that he gets, let those become minor, and let to understand that our survival as a people is the major. That's the major. And so therefore we must work together. There's no option. There's nobody. That was a story that was told to me in my early days in the Nation of Islam. And it was saying that Malcolm X had come, the men had come back selling the papers in the community. And they said, we're tired of people thinking we paper boys. We're not paper boys. We are trying to deliver life-giving information for our survival. And Malcolm listened to them, and they said, Brother Malcolm, we can't do this no more. And when they finished, Brother Malcolm said, brothers, let me tell you this. They all we got. They all we got. So you're going to have to go back with the zeal to get people to understand that we're not going to survive without each other. So it's the same thing with those of us who got it going on. You know, you ride nice. I know you ride nice. You got a nice horse out there. Okay? But the fact of the matter is that we got to use those nice rides like we do to come here and do this work.
That's right.
We're not doing just to show off. We try to have dependable transportation so we can do the work that we deem to do. So that's what I'm trying to say is that, so when we take whatever we have and we use it for the greater good, but today, unfortunately, and again, I go back again, all my life I've been dedicated to building black owned businesses. Not because it's against anybody, it's just nature, it's natural. Every people should have their own capacity to survive. They should not have to depend on other people, and that's not the way it is. But at the same time, we have lost love for each other. And our hatred and the bitterness for each other, it has overruled that. So the question to me is, what do you think we need to do? We don't even like to speak to each other walking down the street. We don't even want to speak to each other. Okay? You know, if you're a Baptist and he's a Methodist, you know, you can't really come together because you're more Baptist or more Methodist than you are black. So today, and I would say this, it seems to me that we're having to make another decision these days, which we shouldn't, whether or not we are what is more important? Is our sexual orientation more important? Or is our race survival more important? That's something that, to me, that they've been building up. I've been listening to this Buttigieg candidate, and I've been listening to some of the other conversations. It's almost like, I mean, why we have to bring that up at all? But they're making it whereby you got to make a choice. You can't. Well, again, my whole thing is that the one thing is that I didn't know when I was born, and nobody knew when I was born what my necessarily what my gender going to be. I mean, these days you can, but what my orientation going to be. But they knew based upon my parentage what I was going to be black. So therefore, to me, that has to loom higher than my orientation.
You know, there are two issues involved in this. There's a spiritual one and a secular one.
Well, I try not to, you know. Well, I mean, I hear you. I mean,
politics in America is a secular event. You understand? And, you know, we have people who have their spiritual agendas, but you can't when the end same thing.
No.
But in the conversation, it's the same. In the conversation, it's the same. People
use it as the same.
Yeah. So the NAACP took a stand several years ago, and I happened to be at the National NAACP conference when the issue was, do the LGBT community deserve to have equal civil rights as any other citizens? And I remember when the president tried to explain to us that the NAACP is not making a statement on sexual orientation.
Right.
The NAACP said any citizen of the United States have equal civil rights, regardless of their sexual identity. And a lot of people misunderstood. This was a preacher. This was a person who was trying to explain that the NAACP, which is a secular organization, is taking a stand for the rights of citizens, regardless of race, gender, all of that.
Right.
And saying, so a lot of people fell out with the NAACP because us being a civil rights organization was doing what we're supposed to do.
But my thing is that those who fell out was those who were putting a secondary agenda over the primary agenda. And that's my point. My point is that love who you want to. But the bottom line is nobody can look at you and say, oh, you love this kind of person, you love that kind of person. But they can look at you and tell you, no, you can't come in here because of your skin color. They can. So my point is that it's National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, regardless of your orientation. So to me, it was an affront for them to even to propose that, okay, to the NAACP in that type of fashion, as if you got to make a decision between this or that, or do we got to have a special play? No, well,
It shouldn't been a decision.
James Baldwin, all the great things that I knew about James Baldwin. I found out later on that his orientation was never. I never heard him speak on it. Maybe you've done a lot of literature.
Yeah, I never heard him speak on it. It wasn't until later on.
Yeah, he spoke mostly about the racial issue.
That's right.
He was an advocate for that. Barrett Reston. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to say we've had people who have different orientations, but for some reason or another, when this feminist mentality started infiltrating our community, it started dividing and conquering us again. Mm-hmm. And my thing is that we cannot be divided and conquered no more. That's why I said about our love. And there are people who, everybody probably got somebody in their family that has another orientation.
Of course.
I love my family members, but my family members are my family because we are family. We are family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So therefore, that's the priority. So we're gonna fall out because I choose not to be that way, or they choose. I don't. You do you? Okay.
Well, I guess the question is for the spiritual, or religious, or whatever.
It's religious, not spiritual.
What would Jesus do? I mean, Jesus would love folk regardless
of their sex.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He loves sinners and
this is what I'm trying to say now is that that is not phobic on our part, is heterophobic for people to demand upon us that we make a choice about that. See, people want to act like people. No. It's not about phobic. Phobic is when you are not okay with me. I'm okay with you. I love you. I'm working for you. I'm tirelessly, but you can't work with me because I don't. I can work with you. Some of my best friends trying to say that ain't got nothing to do with my love for you, but it has something to do with your love for me. So who got the problem? I don't have a problem with it. I still love you. You don't love me. So who got the problem? Question. Who got the problem?
No problem here.
No problem here.
Okay, but
Next topic.
Next. Yeah, exactly. But one thing about it, we say that we're not dodging no issues here. We're gonna do them straight ahead, because it's all about love. And so I just want to make it clear that
could Buttigieg make a good president?
Not in my opinion, because he don't have the race question right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he got that. He got the other question right, maybe, but for the race question, look what he did in his little town.
What did he do?
He didn't do nothing. They had all kind of killings and shooting, and he didn't even know what to do. Didn't want to do nothing until he decided he was going to run for president. So then, that's what I said. Then he decided he wanted to have a black agenda. But the people in his own city wanted to get rid of him because he went along with the white supremacist establishment. Now he's speaking out against it, but that's what he was doing then. That's what I'm trying to say. I follow people. I've been following him for a long time, and that's what I discovered on that. Okay, now speaking of that, what do you think about Deval Patrick getting into the race and this other Mayor Bloomberg getting into the Democratic race at this time?
The former governor of Massachusetts.
Yeah, let me start with you. You're former elected official.
Yeah.
Tell me.
He has the right to do that.
We're not talking about the right, but does it make sense?
Well, no, not at this point in time. It doesn't. It's a little late in the game. It's a little late in the game right now. He has the right to do it, but it's a little late in the game. It's up to the people to decide. It really is.
But to me, it's selfish.
It is.
It's inconsiderate. Yes. And because as the people say, it's hard enough to defeat the opponent the opposition as it is. Now you're gonna bring doubt. It's just like, okay, you're running for something, right? Mm-hmm. So therefore, I decide, well, you're not quite getting it well. So you've been doing all this work all this time. So I decide I'm gonna get in here now.
Are you saying that's what the enemy wants them to do?
That's what I'm trying to get. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm not trying to say that.
Plan?
What do you think? That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a plan.
That's no doubt. Divide and conquer is what the thief do. I remember that in the Bible that I read said the thief comes to kill, steal, and to destroy. Mm-hmm. Okay, So, and that to me is a part of that same agenda. Okay, so I'm just saying is that even some people, and I understand why people booed him in California last week. You know, because they're trying to say, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I want to know who's advising you or to do this. Because whoever it is, they want to maintain the status quo. They're not trying to get no change. Because he telling himself he don't really represent no change. I mean, his policy don't represent the change. So we all feel pretty much the same way about our own anxieties about this type of situation.
Well, I don't have any anxieties about it because in the end, you know, we expect that whoever the Democratic nominee is going to defeat the sitting president.
Right, but let me speak. I mean, I'm speaking again. I have to speak through the man of me as a psychologist. That's my hope. Perhaps. But I'm merely saying is that when you add into the mix.
Hi, my name is Barbara Pierce, and I'm the owner of Unique Euphony Publishing and Art Gallery. I just wanted to let you know that I'm supporting New Way to Live Network.
Trying to get people out. It was
It sounds like an ego issue that they think that they can be the savior of the party.
Right, join the campaign. My point is that pick somebody to join their campaign.
Support somebody.
And be a spokesman. You know what I'm saying? You know, and take a position in their cabinet. I mean, why you got to run? You know, okay. That's one issue. Here locally, we have a couple of races coming up, don't we?
That's right, we do. We have the state senator races. We have the mayor race. We have the school board races. Yeah, several.
Right, and we hope to have some of them.
I have already talked to Senator Ed Harbison and his opposition Teddy Reese. That is a really little leery because he doesn't want to be set up. Like in other words, we're trying to take sides, and we're not like that. We just want everybody to know what the platform is and how they're dealing with the issues.
Well, as you know, well, maybe you don't know, the other night at the NAACP forum, he was the moderator, Mr. Reese was.
Right.
And we spoke briefly, and he said that he's no longer afraid to come and sit down.
I talked to him.
And have a discussion.
It takes a woman, I keep telling you, man. It takes...
Yeah, I mean, did somebody told you otherwise?
No, I talked to him. I talked to him. And
No,
he
I mean
said
about it taking the woman. Did somebody told you otherwise that there's something that it didn't take a woman?
No, I just know that.
Barbara, do what you do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it wouldn't be. What kind of world would it be without a woman?
And I need to make an announcement.
Not a good one.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Wait a minute. What kind of announcement is this?
I need to make one.
Are you getting ready to tell us something that we didn't know?
Okay, announcement police.
It's just a joke.
Announcement police. We want to announce a couple of important community hearings that are coming up this week.
Right, okay.
With the mayor. The mayor is going around having capital project public meetings because they're trying to get some more money.
Yeah.
And I want to announce there are going to be 3 this week. And if you have not been to one of these capital project public meetings, I would advise that you go hear what the city is proposing.
What are the capital projects they're trying to get in?
Well, they got a 1% sales tax. They got the government center.
That's
they got pools and a lot of other issues on it. But let me announce before the time runs out.
No, keep the swimming pools open. They have already.
Let me announce the places where it's at. Okay, tomorrow night, November 18th, going to be at the Salvation Army Worship Center on 5201 Warren Springs Road. And I think all these hearings are at 7 o'clock. Okay. November the 19th, the next day, Tuesday, going to be at the Government Center Annex on 420 10th Street. That's right down 10th Street and 4th Veterans Parkway. And then on November 21st, I think that's Thursday, Faith Worship Center, 5303 Miller Road.
Miller or Miller?
Miller. M-I-L-L-E-R, Miller Road. Okay, those 3 nights this week, the mayor and his entourage will be there to answer questions about this 1% splash that they're trying to pass, and a number of issues that we just mentioned some of them.
Right. So that's why I mean my thing that I mean in the past, you know when people know about events, if they don't know what it's about, how it connects to them, sometimes they're not as anxious to go. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that people understood what some of the issues were and how it kind of impacts.
Absolutely.
You know, the impacts that and you know, and one of them. Do you think we need to? I mean, see, one of the things about it, you know, let me say this: the call to talk Saturday morning was a very good call to talk, and I was very moved by a young lady. I think, as I mentioned to you earlier, that had been a victim of a tragic domestic violence incident. And I hope to have her on at some point to talk a little bit about it. But she's such, to me, she's just miraculous. Her attitude of redemption and forgiveness and her spirit is just really infectious. But during that time, of course, the judges were speaking and they were talking about, you know, the issue about incarceration and things of this sort. And of course, eventually we got into the issue about the violence that we talked about earlier that's going on in our community. But I'm saying I don't hear in 1 cent to put in some funds so we can go out and really reach the people in our community that's hurting. Just like a few moments ago, a gentleman came to my door.
That's right.
He's homeless and hungry. I'm saying now he's able-bodied. You saw him, right? I mean, he's able-bodied.
He's able physically, but is he able mentally?
Yes, I mean, but he needs to have an opportunity. Even people, I worked with people who are not necessarily as
mentally challenged.
They have some mental challenges, but they still can work and they get better. You know, idle mind is the devil's workshop, and so my thing is that you know. Again, you know, we building buildings. We invest in buildings, jails, and buildings, and the government centers, and the school district. They got some money, want to do some building, but at the same time, when are we going to be as impassioned and hold forums about investing in human beings, in people, in the quality of life of people?
These hearings that they have now can be turned into that if we show up and put it on the agenda. And that's what we got to do. I'm telling you, at these meetings you got all of the departments represented, and any challenge, any question about this money, now's the time to talk about it. If they don't have anything that's going to help address the mental health issue in Muskogee County, that needs to be on the table. And
not just the mental health issue, but my point is that there are people who are healthy, mentally healthy, generally speaking, but they still don't have the opportunities. They still don't have the involvement in the repair and the development of their own communities. You know the challenge you had just trying to resurrect the Claflin Center over there, right?
Well, I thank God, and I'm grateful
I'm just saying that
things move right. And anytime you do something that's out of the ordinary,
right,
there are going to be challenges,
right?
You know, and let me tell you something. We eliminated the day,
right?
You know, right. I mean, God just made it possible for us to do everything that we needed to do.
Right.
But this is what we were told at the beginning. You do your due diligence,
right,
and I'll do the rest.
Right. My point is that you understand what challenges are.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I'm saying to you that there are many people out here, okay, who don't have the background of
no question,
Brother Jesse. Okay. So my only point is that there's a lot of investment in the human capital in this community that has been neglected, in my opinion.
Okay. Somebody needs to invest. Better.
Yeah, right.
So the NAACP is an organization that invests in human capital. Why are you so passionate about the NAACP?
I'm passionate because I believe in people need to have their rights recognized, and it needs to be justice for all. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean,
what are the game changers about?
Let's start off with education. There are a lot of problems with education. The main one is the dismantling of the school to prison pipeline, and it's in every aspect that is going on. In special education, just attending school, and now you got that new law now that if the kids are fighting, they get suspended from school. You know, there's a lot of challenges in education that we need to really, and the reason why some of these things are happening is because we don't show up. You know, that law or that policy in Columbus, Georgia may not have even been on the books if we had showed up to the meetings. So we have to show up.
What's your explanation as to why people don't show up? Just before we.
Lack of knowledge.
Okay.
A lack of knowledge, lack of communication.
Okay. Where can they?
Indifferent.
Where can they get? I mean, can they change?
Right here.
Okay.
This is where we start. Communication.
Being responsible for what belongs to you. And we need to take responsibility first for our children.
How do they do that?
It's the responsibility of adults.
But how?
Where do we start?
Not who, but how do they do that? They're not doing it. How do they do that? You got people that are in the jail down there. How do they stop becoming incarcerated?
Well, we go down there on Sundays and we explain to them how. First place, what we say to men is that what's wrong is too many of our men are out of place. They're not where God would have them to be. Okay. So we help them. Let me talk.
Okay.
So we help them understand how to get from where they are to where God would have them to be. And there's a process.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Where would God have them to be?
In a healthy relationship, family, community, involved, at home.
No, that's not me speaking. Let's have a conversation.
In a relationship with him.
In a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, for one who has not known a healthy relationship, how do they do that?
You got to be willing to humble yourself.
If they're not willing,
if you're not willing to change, then there will be no change.
Okay. Let me say that. Thank you all for being here this evening, and again, like I said, these are ongoing dialogue, ongoing discussion, and what we're saying is that even in our different understandings, we still continue to engage each other in a dialogue so that we can improve our community. Is that right?
That's right.
That's what we hear.
Okay. So, yes, ma'am.
Oh no, I was just going to close on. Can I close on? Are we going to close?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to close because we do a lot of talking every week about businesses, and all of us are in businesses, and I think we need to sometimes talk about what we do to help people in the different issues that we talk about. And what I really try to do is to take on young people and use my business as a tool to teach them the things that they need to know. But it's just me, and it's a very small percentage of improvement when it's only just you. All the business needs to take that into account and use their businesses to help young people, because that's what we have to start is with the young people now, because the older people are already out there setting their ways, so we have to start with the young people.
So this is the choir here because that's what you do.
I'm talking to these people right here. I'm not talking to you.
No. What I'm saying is that, what I'm saying is that tell them, like kind of how they can get
in touch with me?
Yeah.
Oh yes, Barbara Pierce. That is 706-577-3197. It's Unique Euphony Publisher and Art Gallery. It's an awesome organization because it's not only just a business, but it's a communication organization that we bring young people in and try to teach them certain skills. And it's been working out very, very nice. We have a new clothing line that's coming out, the Janet Collection. So we're going to have kids that are modeling those clothes, and they feel good about themselves when they look good. Okay. And so that's one of the reasons why the clothing line is coming out. Okay.
And then final word for you?
Well, I want to encourage parents, particularly elementary, middle, high school students. This past Saturday, we had our first debate tournament at Richards Middle School. We involve middle and high school students in public policy debate. This is the Columbus Urban Debate League. I happen to be the director of the Columbus Urban Debate League. We are in our 9th season, and we had a wonderful 4 rounds of debate on Saturday. And we need to direct our children to participate in debating, particularly C grade students. We want to get involved, those students who are not the overachievers, the ones who are not stretched out in all types of activities. Debating can help them with their reading, with their critical thinking, their comprehension, It can help them to be able to win their argument with civility.
Okay.
So that's what
All
we
right.
do.
All right. And of course, we have a new initiative with Project Rebound Inc., where we are starting basically a IT technology program as a crime prevention project, but also as a job opportunity, whereby we're going to teach them how to become what they call geeks, computer geeks, where they will be able to repair, rebuild, and of course technology is in everything from cooking to book publishing to debating. You got to use technology, and so therefore tonight we had to use technology to deliver the word as well. So so we're just saying that's the 706-221-4830. And we're going to talk more and more about this in the coming weeks. But again, there are a lot of things. We also have some mentoring opportunities for people who want to work with young people. There are 3 projects in particular that if you're interested, we'd love for you to get involved with, and we can utilize your talents. 706-221-4830, Project Rebound Inc. Don't forget the bookstore, Euphoria Books and Wellness, and don't forget agribusiness. We got to support our black farmers, and we got to feed ourselves with good, nutritious food, healthy, organic, non-toxic, and what they call the GMO of foods that are not good for you. That's what we're all about, the education of, okay? So I want to thank you for being with us tonight. And I'm going to end with this thought here tonight. The first to ban educating blacks. There's no big secret that during slavery in most states, it cost a person $100 and 39 lashes with a whip, and they were caught teaching a black person to read and write. Black slaves caught writing and reading, especially newspaper, had to be dumbed down in the presence of whites. Whites harbored little fear of illiterate blacks. Whites did fear educated blacks and used the law to impose ignorance on them. South Carolina has the dubious honor being the first state to forbid teaching a black to read and write in the early 1700s when the British first established the colonies. There was strong opposition to educating slaves. The ruling whites resisted the efforts of missionaries to teach blacks to read the Bible, and because they knew it was easier to control an ignorant slave than an educated one. So the issue becomes, are you going to be an ignorant slave, or are you going to be an educated African or human being? Your choice. Good night. As I always want to say, organize, 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 promote the Shisho Shinru Sasuzuri. Stay tuned for more videos now in the coming weeks. And again, I'd like to thank our very, very special guest here, Ms. Barbara Pierce, Brother Richard Jesse, who are your community servants as well, just trying to do a little good for the neighborhood, and you should be sitting here with us as well, because this is your community. Thank you. We are beautiful people, but we must come together to have freedom now. Good night. Good night. Boy, we had a night tonight. Had a few difficulties here and there, but we're growing, we're building. We feel real, real good about where we're going with this. And of course, there's always power to the people. You know, that's what it's all about. And I'm Dr. J. Aleem Hud. Again, thank you. You can find us real soon on YouTube and other mediums. So again, thank you so very, very much. And we love you. Stay with us. And again, come join us sometime right here on Visions Now.
Hello, my name is Juan Lane, and thank you for tuning in to this station, New Way to Live. Listen, we can't do it without your help. We need you to send your donations in today. This is how this station operates, and we're trying to do the very best for you and your family with the production that we have. We are really giving it our all, but we cannot continue it without your financial support. So please, send your offerings in to P.O. Box 3615, Columbus, Georgia 3631903, in care of New Way to Live, and we'll make sure that we get it on so we can keep this great program going. If you and your family are enjoying it, we pray that you continue we pray that you send us a offering that we can continue it and do the very best for you. Also, make sure that you watch our public education program. This is a very special program where it can help you prepare for your next test. The public education program right here on New Way to Live. Thank you. Did you know that the majority of people have no will, trust, or power of attorney? What will happen to your children, property, or other assets? If you can't make decisions for yourself, who will know your wishes? Will the appropriate people know where to find all of your personal and financial documentations and information? Well, we have a program developed by attorneys to complete at your own pace from the comfort of your home. You can update this program as needed with no add-ons or surprise fees. You can secure all of your important information in this virtual password protected safety deposit box with easy to use services and client support system available. Please call me today at 706-366-5520. Again, call me today at 706-366-5520. I hope to hear from you soon.